Okay, hi everybody. David Fogel back with you, CEO of the Symphonina Foundation, and back with another Symphonina Foundation podcast. And we're starting this week off with composer Hamed Erfani from Oklahoma. Hamed, how are you today?
I'm good, David. I want to say hi to you and to your audience. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be part of this brilliant podcast.
Well, it's our pleasure, and I have to say, it seems like every other podcast we do, there's somebody from Oklahoma, and it's a tribute to Oklahoma, and everybody who's in Oklahoma has such a strong community, as particularly for symphonic music, but really, it goes beyond just that, but for symphonic music in particular. And that's part of your focus. I know you were involved in the Oklahoma Youth Orchestras, and you're a very versatile composer, now focusing on film scoring. But I want to ask you, how did you get your start in music? Let's start there, and then we can see how you worked your way to Oklahoma.
The way that I started music is not a normal thing. It's not like others. I, I mean, I started my musical journey when I was like 17 or 18.
Mm.
And before that, I had no musical experience. I was a professional soccer player, and it was
Oh,
my entire life.
wow.
And because in my country, when we want to choose our major, we have to do it during the time that we are in high school.
Mm,
So I was doing electrical engineering, and it was my major.
mhm,
So I was really involved with those, and I was like the top student in the school. And at the same time, I was like playing soccer professionally. I was just making money out of that.
mhm,
But when I just went to the university, I thought, okay, this is not something that I want to do for my future. So I started at the age of like 17, I started to play the guitar. And when I was 18, I took some serious classes. And the way that I started composing music, it was really interesting because I was just learning flamenco guitar and at the same time like music theory, and I was asking my theory teacher to give me some composition lesson as well. And one day after like a few months he asked me, do you want to arrange music? And I said yes. And he said, okay. I remember I had my classes with him on Sunday. He asked me, okay, on Wednesday be, for example, in that location. I said, yes. I went there and saw a couple of musicians. I said, okay, what's going on? He asked me, okay, we have to write for these musicians. I was shocked and to be honest, I panicked.
I might have
But he
too.
told me,
Yeah.
he told me, that's fine, don't worry, we are going
Yeah.
to work together. So he really helped me. He was just helping me with that learning. I mean, every step of composition that I was learning, I was writing music at that music was being performed, which was a great opportunity for me. So I continue my major at university level and I earned my bachelor in electrical engineering.
Hmm.
And at the same time, I was just practicing music. I had a music production team that we were working. And then I decided to just change my love for music. So my wife, Yasaman, she's a cellist.
Ah.
She got admission at University of Central Oklahoma, went there to study with Dr. Tess, and I got admission from Oklahoma City University, and I went there and studied music composition in master level with Dr. Knight, Dr. Edward Knight, which is an amazing professor to learn composition. Yeah, that's how my journey was.
Well, okay, first of all, it points out a couple of things. A lot of people that I interview, and I think most people we know who are proficient in music, particularly in performance, start when they're when they're 4 or 5 or maybe 6 or 7, but not usually in their teens. But I have to say, I do know a couple of people who have started in their early teens and are really, really, really great. I mean, really great. And so, you know, starting at 16, 17, especially if you're going in the composer spectrum of life, I don't think it's ever too late, really. But yeah, it just goes to show, I'm sure even, if you stuck with guitar and focused on that, you'd be very, very, very good. And I will say one other thing too. I used to play jazz piano at a hotel here in San Diego, the Catamaran Hotel. I played from 1994 to 2010. So 16 years on one gig. It was a long gig twice a week. It was great. And occasionally, people who were older, like I am now, would come up to me and say, I wish I could play like that. I wish I had played. I gave it up. And it would always come back to, do you want to start again? You're never too old. I would tell them you're never too old, no matter how 16, 17, 56, 57, 75, 90, it doesn't matter. And if you really, if you just put, I think you'll agree with me. Let's see if you do. If you put 20 to 30 minutes a day into learning whatever instrument it is, in like 2 years, you'll be playing the things that you want to play. You may not play them professionally, you may not play them at a hotel or something else, but you'll be playing the things you want to play, and you'll be having fun, and other people will have fun listening to you, and you'll be
That's
bringing
right.
joy to the world, right? So
Yes, I totally agree with that. I mean, when the thing about like modern world is that when we start something, it has to be a profession that we have to just choose it for our future. But sometimes we can have hobbies. I mean, we can enjoy the music. It
yep,
shouldn't really be like something really serious because some people cannot devote more than like 20 or 30 minutes a day for their music. So why not just work on the piano for 20 minutes? I mean, that's enough. And as you mentioned, in 2 years they are gonna play the music that they love. And I mean, a musical world is much nicer than a mere world without music. So
absolutely.
it's gonna make a big difference.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you one other thing, which is a personal note. And I generally don't inject this many personal notes to you in a podcast because it's about our guests and not about me. But in this case, we have something else in common, which is an engineering background. So my bachelor's degree was in math, and my master's and PhD were in engineering. So I want to ask you, do you find, as I did, that it's really a strength to have that sort of analytical aspect of your life when you're coming towards music theory and composing and things like that? Or do you feel like it would be better to not have that kind of engineering mindset and structure? Or do you, in fact, leave that mindset and structure completely out and let it flow artistically, so to speak? How does it work for you?
First of all, I believe that it's really helping me. It's really helping me, especially with the structure and everything, because when I was an engineer, one of the best things that I was good at, it was mathematics. So in my composition, I mean, you are a composer, you know how it works. You have the musical ideas, but when it goes to like a big picture for the like a big piece, you need some map, and those map, the mathematic ideas really work over there. So I mean, the engineering background helped me with understanding the large image of my music, and at the same time, it's really helped me because I also do like audio engineering and recording. I mean, it's really helped me with understanding the sound and the frequencies and how everything in like music production world works, which is really good because other than that, I was just relying on my ears, but now I understand the process, which I think is really valuable.
Math isn't for everybody, that's for sure. And sometimes I question whether it was for me too, but it really was. And I think, if it's not for you, that's fine. But if it is, it definitely, to me, provided a step up. And it sounds like it goes for you too when it comes to composition and that whole idea of what's this big piece going to be like, and how do all these moving parts move together in a way that you want them to. I do want to ask you what in your experience has been different between working with youth orchestras or youth wind orchestras and non-youth, let's say traditional orchestras?
I think the big difference was that I had a residency for Oklahoma Youth Orchestra for 2024 and 2025. And before that, I didn't have much experience working with the students. I was working with like professional musicians. And when you work with professional musicians, you can just figure out everything because they help you to figure out. But when you work with youth musicians, it's a totally different world. You have to just keep a lot of things in mind. I remember when I was just writing pieces for them, I had like constant meeting with the orchestra director and the orchestra conductor and the executive director to make sure that the music that I write is playable and doable for them and they enjoy the music.
Yeah.
I remember when I had like the first ideas of my music, I started to share it with the conductor and see, okay, if you conduct this music, will they enjoy playing it or no? Because if they don't enjoy playing it, it's not gonna be something because they are not doing it for money. You know what I mean? It's a different thing. So they have to enjoy the music. Other than that, it's just gonna be a couple of notes that they don't even practice. So I was just checking everything before writing the music, and I think it was a really good experience for me because it put me in a frame that I had to compose in there. I was able to get out of there, but with a really good vision to do that because I was just attending the rehearsals and I had notes from the conductor to look for the specific player to see which techniques they play really well.
Hmm.
So I was taking those techniques and put it in the melody that I was writing for them, in the tune that I was writing for them. It worked very well and it was a great time for me. I learned a lot. I worked with Chris Marquez. She was the executive director. I worked with Dr. Mayman. He was the conductor of Oklahoma Youth Wings. I mean, working with like bands and wind ensembles is totally different with the orchestras. So it was a great experience for me. Now I think that my band writing is way different than before.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. And it sounds like the students benefited greatly from you. I'm sure they did. And it's always nice when teachers, quote unquote, can benefit from their students, and learn from them as well. When you were originally getting into composition, did you always think that you were going to be focusing on film, or did you have other visions of what you wanted to compose?
Started my like like production team. We were doing mostly pop tunes because we had a studio and we were a couple of like musicians that were able to do a lot of good recordings and we were doing pop tunes. But after that, because I really like film scoring, but before doing my masters, sometimes you have ideas for something, but you think that you do not have the tools for bringing that ideas into the world. But during my master's degrees, I really worked on those tools. I worked with the orchestras. I was just writing cues. I was trying to get involved with different filmmakers to find their words and find the vocabulary that they use in their everyday work. So I scored two student films during my master's degree to make sure that I know how it works. And I was taking like film music classes and then I said, okay, this is the field that I want to work. That's it. I found it.
And do you do that for fun also? Or do you take on projects and say, I just want to score to the scene, for example? Or how do you go about getting the work that you want? I guess it's an even better question. How do you keep your skills up and how do you keep expanding them and how do you find new jobs to work on?
You won't believe me, but since I've been here, I didn't really go after them. They came to me. And
It's
it
always
was,
nice when the fish jumps into your boat instead of having to catch it. That's
yes,
great. That's good.
I
Yeah.
didn't expect that, but it happened. I mean, I try to be really active on social media and show what I was doing
Hmm.
because I thought that is worth for people to see what I'm doing because I was just working really hard. So I was posting on my social media and the projects were coming to me. And even now, after I graduated, I just had like the residency for Oklahoma Chamber Symphony, and I'm writing a piece for them that has to be delivered like in a week.
Okay.
And they're going to premiere the piece on September 27th. And after that, I have the recording with Dr. Tess in September, and I already have two more commission works and one publication in January.
Well,
So I think,
congratulations on all that. That's awesome.
thank you so much. I think the wheel is rolling, so I'm just trying to catch up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's okay. So I guess the question is when you get offered something now and you've got all these things that we just talked about or you just talked about, are you able to take on more things or do you need to pace yourself into 2026 as we look at the calendar? It's already August, believe it or not, and it's going to be the new year before we know it.
One thing about me is that I like to work. I like to just keep myself busy. When I'm busy, I think that my creativity is really improving and I'm just making progress, which I really like. So I think I'm gonna catch up with work. I don't want to really slow my pace at
Yeah.
this time because if I slow my pace, I think that I'm gonna get out of this wheel, which I
Yeah.
don't like. I just want to stay on it and keep going.
Yeah, you seem like a very productive person who enjoys being productive, and those are the most productive people.
Yes, I think maybe it's not a good thing to say, but when I don't have like something that I've produced, I mean, it shouldn't be always an orchestral piece. It's some musical ideas or anything that I have produced. I think that I'm useless. I think that I'm not using the time that I'm living. But when I produce something, I say, okay, now I'm living the life that I've been gifted. So I feel
Yeah.
more productive
Yeah,
that way.
I totally appreciate what you're saying there. So let me ask you a question. I believe you came from Iran, was that correct?
Yes.
So you have that heritage as part of your musical background, I'm sure. When you're thinking about scoring a film, do you try to do you try to find ways to get that Persian influence into the film, or do you just let the film speak to you and say what is the music needed for the film? How does that work for you?
For the film, I usually try to see what the film speaks to me
Hmm.
because I tried it once. For the first project that I had, I took two different approaches. I went for the film and I tried to see what the film is giving me. I was just writing musical ideas and I scored the entire film. with the ideas that the film has given me. On the other side, I decided to do the same thing, but with my Persian background
Okay.
and use the Persian modes because in Persian modes we have, for example, if you have like a scary scene, you can have you can use one of those modes that give you that
Mm.
scary ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to do both of them with Persian viewpoint and with a normal viewpoint.
Okay.
And then I just stopped listening to the music for a week or two, I think. And I listened to the music. I shared it with my professor. I shared it with my wife. She always has really good opinion. When I just wait for the film to speak to me, the idea was much more closer to the film than the time that I was trying to just push like the Persian ideas into it. That's for the film, because for the film, I always say that I'm here to help the film improve. I'm
Yeah.
here to help. I'm not here to add anything. If the scene is giving you an idea, I'm not able to, I mean, I'm able to do it, but I shouldn't. I just have to just improve the filmmaker ideas. So I try not to just interfere with that and just try to boost it. But when I have like a normal composition like the Oklahoma Chamber Symphony, I had meeting with the conductor and asked if I can be myself, if I can use the Persian heritage that I have. And I was told that try to be Hamed, and that's it. And now when I want to be Hamed, Hamed has a Persian background. I'm from Iran. I have those ideas. So I bring them into my music. I use the modes that I love. But for female scoring, I try to be really cautious.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And I suppose if you're working with a choreographer for dancing, for things like that, then it becomes maybe more of a collaborative effort between the two of you, unless they already have their dance routine already set. But something like that where you get to have your influence.
For me, collaboration is everything, because that's the spot that you learn. Sometimes we work with, I mean, especially when you collaborate with people in different areas and different domain of art, because that's really helpful. They don't really see the music the way that we see. As a musician, we always have it because we are taught, we are all classically trained musicians, so we have a viewpoint for everything. But they don't really look at music like that. They say, okay, it doesn't make sense with my choreography. And you cannot really say no, it makes sense because this is the harmony, this is the
Right.
intervals I'm seeing. When they say it doesn't make sense, that's it. You have to change that spot. And I think that approach was really helpful to me because I had experience with working with choreographer, I think 4 times in the past 2 years. And their opinions really helped to improve the music and really helped to improve the flow of the music, which was really nice. Now, when I work with someone, I always ask for their opinions because I'm sure that it's gonna be helpful. It's gonna help my music. So I don't really I don't really stick to the ideas that I have.
It sounds all great. Are you doing anything with other genres besides, let's say, symphonic music currently, or are you focusing mainly on symphonic?
Right now, I'm mainly on symphonic, but we are trying. Last year, we did a big production for a Persian event, which is called Mehregan.
Hmm.
Is a fall celebration in Iranian culture. For that one, we had like I did electroacoustic music, so I had really big backing tracks and fixed media, and I have live musicians playing on those, classical musicians and Persian traditional musicians. And we had choreographers, we had videography and everything. For this year, probably we want to do the same thing. So that's one of the concerns that we have. We are going to have meetings for that next week to see if we can get the funds
Okay.
that is necessary for that and just start doing it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck with all that, Hamed. And it sounds like you definitely not, there's an old saying like, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. And and it would be, I'm sure, if anything you take on, I have every confidence you're going to do very, very well. If people want to get in touch with you, Hamed, what's the best way to do that?
My social media on my website, I'm really active on my website. It's always updated. Every recording, every project that I have, they can find it on my website. And I usually announce everything on my social media, on my LinkedIn, on my Instagram, and my Facebook.
Okay. And your website, I think, is hamederfani.com, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Well, Hamed, we're going to listen to some more of your great music on the way out here. And we wish you all the best. And if there's anything we can do to be of help to you at the Symphonina Foundation, you just let us know. We're happy to help.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate to be here, and it was an honor for me.